that moves. enca.com.
In this week's episode, when a Limpopo father lost his son, he inspired change to save children in his village. But first, she took a decisive action instead of complaining passively. In 2001, Cape Town mother Amanda Bloch took her sick baby to an expensive private hospital. But the facility couldn't help the little boy because it had no experience with baby kidneys. Ironically, the child received top medical care from a state hospital in Cape Town, desperately short of resources. Amanda was so touched by this experience that she did something unheard of. She achieved most of her academic goals at an early age. But starting a family was Amanda Bloch's most important priority. And in the early 2000s, everything fell into place.
I remember the days they were born, those exact moments, and the immense happiness and joy I felt. Zachary is my second-born son, so there's only a year between the two boys.
But before Zachary reached the age of 1, things went terribly wrong.
It was in April in 2001 that Zachary got sick. And he was 7.5 months old, and he'd had a virus. He was vomiting. And because I'd had a son before Zach, I knew about these things, and it didn't seem out of the ordinary.
But it turned out to be out of the ordinary. Little Zachary had kidney failure, rare for a 7-month-old baby. He was taken to a private hospital in Cape Town, the best medical care money could buy. But surprisingly, doctors at the facility had never dealt with a child in Zachary's condition.
They had told me when they admitted him to ICU, "I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do for your son. Call your rabbi and your family because he's going to die."
But no parent would accept those words. Friends advised Amanda to call a specialist from Red Cross, a hospital desperately short of resources.
And when I arrived there, I think I saw a very frightened mum and a very, very unwell little baby boy. And I knew that the treatment that he needed wasn't available in the hospital that he was currently admitted to.
At the time, Red Cross was the only children's kidney unit in Cape Town. Zachary needed to be taken there.
And I immediately went, "Oh, Red Cross, but that's a place for poor people who can't afford this kind of care. Surely this is the best care money can buy." And I started to get really upset.
A skeptical Amanda had no choice but to take her little boy to Red Cross.
There were no curtains around the beds, and there were plastic chairs that were broken to sit on. I slept on a piece of foam cutout that I found somewhere on the floor. And there was no facilities, bathroom facilities for parents.
But Zachary was finally in the right hands. And what happened in the next few days was extraordinary.
Zachary's recovery was really quite remarkable. He went from one day being unconscious to 2 weeks later sitting up and playing in his cot at the hospital.
Despite all the doubts, Red Cross had succeeded in saving the child. A few weeks later, he was discharged. Amanda was deeply moved by this experience. She put everything that happened to paper.
I felt that it was unacceptable that my son could receive first world clinical care in a third world environment, and it was that way because it was a state facility. And why should it be that because you're indigent, you should have less dignified circumstances to work in or less dignified circumstances to receive care?
Amanda's new life goal was to raise funds to buy equipment and refurbish the hospital unit that saved her baby boy. She distributed her letter to everyone she knew, from relatives and friends to business associates. The recipients of the letter responded positively. Millions of rands had been raised, and the Red Cross Children's Hospital was getting a well-deserved facelift.
Machinery and equipment now means we can treat that many more children, not just with kidney problems, but this ward actually specialises in all the subspecialties, so children with liver problems, children with brain problems. And then the equipment that's been donated has helped us save many children's lives.
It boosts our morale so high that we actually wanted to be on duty every day. We were the first ward to be renovated at Red Cross, and we were so proud of ourselves. We were proud of Amanda and very, very grateful towards her.
Zachary is 12 years old today, and he's a star in the making.
Seeing him grow up with his brother, and even when they fight, it makes me happy because he's here. They both are.
Amanda went on to partner with the Red Cross's fundraising trust to further improve the health institution. Still to come, how did this Limpopo father recover after losing his son?
News that moves. ENCA.com.